been in the role for around 2 years now. So my main job is to go around the counties and connect people with nature and just get people to understand what it is we do as a record centre in West Wales. So, has anybody heard of the local record centres before?
No.
Okay, well, that's, hold on. Where's
Turn the dimmer down
there we go.
slightly.
So,
The dimmer on that one.
Oh, I thought they were off. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
better,
okay.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. Perfect.
So we have in Wales, we've got 4 record centres, and they are spread out in this very higgledy-piggledy way. So WWBIC covers Old Dyfed, but minus a section of the Brecon Beacons, which we give to our neighbours called BIS, who are Biodiversity Information Service. And then in the south we've got Subrec, and in the north we've got Codnod. And we all work together under the umbrella of Lurk Wales. So the record centres were set up in order to mobilise data from all of the various counties. So we have county recorders in each county who collect information about biodiversity for their various groups. So we've got a bird recorder, a plant recorder, so each sort of species group has got their county recorder, and a lot of that was all done on paper, so and filed away in someone's cabinet somewhere, so there wasn't as access to that data. So the record centres are set up to bring that data into a digital format so that it can be shared more widely for the benefit of biodiversity. We've been going for almost 20 years now, and we've accumulated around 4.5 million species records in the database. So I've sort of gone through this already. So we collect, manage and distribute information about biodiversity and wildlife habitats across our specific areas in West Wales. We're run as a not-for-profit service. We also then provide services for our recorders. So we help with IT, we store the data and produce maps for the region. We offer training for various different levels of recording, and we also do recording days, which are sort of access to private land that the recorders might not be able to get to. So we facilitate that. And I'm not sure if you've heard of iRecord before, but we also help to verify records on iRecord. There's a massive database that's just building up lots of records, and there's only often one verifier, and so we're helping to get through that backlog of data that needs to be checked against for validity. So in the UK, we're prolific wildlife recorders, and has been going on for centuries, and this infographic.
Let me just put that behind. Because we.
Sorry.
Excuse me,
That's
sorry.
okay. It's just showing really the UK is a bit of a hub for wildlife recording, and it's all spreading out across the world. And the GBIF is the Global Biodiversity Information Facility, and the idea is that all the data from all the various different schemes and societies will hopefully end up on this massive database so that wildlife can be protected throughout the world. So they've got, this is a bit of an old slide, so it's probably more than that now, 2.5 billion records and 120 million of them in the UK. And I just thought I'd mention the history of recording, and this is John Ray, who was a famous botanist, and he's got a sculpture in the Natural History Museum, and is coined the father of natural history. So he was sort of the pioneer of taxonomy, really. He started at Cambridge University and describing plants and yeah, so he's so as it's over the years, the history of recording, and there's lots of different taxon-based recording schemes in the UK, including more well-known ones like the BTO, the British Trust for Ornithology, Botanical Society.
What taxon-based is?
Yes, so that would be the taxonomy is the so the description of species.
Right.
So each group of animals or plants is divided into a specific taxon group.
Right.
Right. So yeah.
Thank you.
That's
That's
okay.
useful. Yes, I just thought I'm going to just ask because I don't know what that is.
So we've got birds, plants, bryophytes, which are our mosses and liverworts, and then there's some more less well-known ones like the British myriapod and isopod group, and these are the beetles. The Mammal Society is quite well known, and Amphibian and Reptile Conservation, Bumblebee Conservation Trust, and the Hoverfly Recording Scheme. That's just a very small selection of all of the different groups that have evolved over the years. So all of these groups are collected into a particular recording data centre. So they all work together with UKCEH and the Biological Record Centre, which was set up in 1962, I believe. So all their data feeds into this one scheme. And then there's the National Biodiversity Network, which then gets the data and puts it out to the wider public. All of these places like Natural Resources Wales will feed into the NBN network, and then we've got these recording apps and online recording forms that also feed into the BLC and iNaturalist, and then we have the Lurk Wales app, which is a Welsh version.
What does LURC stand for?
LURC stands for the Local Environmental Record Centres. So that's all four of us across Wales collaborating together to make this one system.
So do all of this data, does it feed into one central place, or are there different data sets that are doing different things?
The idea is that everything should feed into the NBN.
Ah, that's the central
So-
one, the NBN.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the goal, the overarching plan.
Yeah.
It's a bit more complicated than that, as these sorts of things, everyone wants their own app and everyone wants to do their own thing. So getting all of that information to come into the same place is a big job.
Yes.
So in Wales, because we work so well together as a consortium, all of our data for Wales goes into one database, which I will come to in a minute. So this is just a pretty map of West Wales, and it's showing the record density of our region. So red is over 5,000 records, and then white is nil. So we're hoping to fill in all the gaps. That would be our overreaching goal, but also to look at the different taxon groups, make sure that we've got a good cover of all different species groups. And this is just highlighting some of the empty squares in the region, where we've got 0 records. Quite often it is an access issue, or there's just a really, with Ceredigion particularly, there's areas that are completely uninhabited. So if there's less people, there's less likelihood that there's going to be someone recording there. So, we were just to answer that question you had before, where do the records go? So this is our Daring database, and it collects all the records from all 4 local record centres in Wales, and it has around 20 million records in it. And as a member of the public, you can access this and find out what's being recorded in your local area. And also, if you're interested in a particular group or a particular species, you can look into the distribution of that species in our region, or across the whole of Wales. And what are they used for? So this is just an example of one of the things that the data goes towards helping write, is the state of nature reports. So this one in particular is for Carmarthenshire, and that then goes to shape policy across Carmarthenshire for biodiversity. We also do more specialist things, mapping for waxcap grasslands in West Wales. So West Wales is one of the most important sites in Europe for waxcaps. So these are a group of fungi that occur in sort of undisturbed grasslands that haven't been ploughed or fertilised for over 50 years. So they're really good indicators of ancient grasslands. And this is just highlighting how we've got some data of the waxcap grasslands, and the red dots showing the nationally important sites across West Wales. That's where 17 or more species have been found.
There are, you do get them around here. I mean, it is.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
absolutely.
do.
Yeah.
There's a lot at Llanafan, aren't there, I think?
Yeah. So this is being done with the data that we hold currently. There is a fungus recording network in Pembrokeshire. So that's slightly biased towards Pembrokeshire because they are a very keen group that go out looking for these sites. So we're hoping that more people will get interested in fungi in West Wales and go out and look for these waxcaps.
Are all the records you receive then from the public? Are there any official kind of recording?
Yeah. So it comes from both ends. So we get stuff from the public, we get stuff from people who've been recording for many years as a hobby or as professionals, and we also get data from sort of professional surveys as well. Yeah. We also help to promote and engage people with local projects that are going on. So I don't know if you've come across Paul Taylor, who's our county butterfly recorder. He's running a project called the Brown Hare Street Project. So these are a rare butterfly that you can survey for during the winter, looking for their very small eggs on blackthorn. So that's what else we're going towards. So just introduce you to our project that we're doing currently. So this is a regional project for the whole of West Wales, and it's funded by Welsh Government and Local Places for Nature. And we want, during this project, to ask people some questions, and we want to develop their knowledge of wildlife in their area and just build up a wider and more resilient recording community. So the questions that we want to find out, so what wildlife is living in your local patch, and what does your patch mean to you? How does your patch contribute to the wider biodiversity of your area? And then what potentially could it make? So this is where the sticky notes come in. I just wanted to ask you to answer the questions. What does your patch mean to you? So in terms of, so my patch, for example, would be my back garden and my local walk that I do every morning. Also, what does biodiversity mean to you? And then if you can name 3 species that you know are living in your patch. I'll give you a minute or so to do that.
Plants or animals or anything?
Anything that you
It's
can
not mine to give you, really.
think of that you...
Anything that we've ever seen, ever. Even if it was quite some time ago. Well, the lesser spotted.
Do you mean live on all year round, or live on just because the sunbirds and things coming and come and you know what I mean? They come and go.
Yeah. It's open to interpretation.
Live on my patch.
Ooh, it's well done. It needs to be drawn. You just over the other side. Have you got a big garden?
Yeah, it's got half an acre. It's completely covered, so I've got species, I've got lots of brambles.
Who hasn't?
I'm writing these, I can't actually read them because I haven't got my glasses. I don't
I
know.
suppose cockapoos qualify. No, not really.
We ought to do them for this garden as well.
A cockapoo.
I said a cockatoo.
Oh no.
So that's
Hopefully there's no
interesting.
cockatoos.
I think I would leave you.
My son gets cockatoos
No, there aren't any.
come and knock on the door.
So this is just an example of a patch, and it doesn't matter how big or small it is, you can always find lots of interesting things in your patch. So since 2023, I've discovered 185 species visit my garden. So that's visit rather than necessarily live in the patch. So because a lot of them are winged, so it just highlights really how even just leaving places a little bit wild can boost the diversity of species. This is just something that I've gotten a bit obsessed with and continue to then every summer have a look, see what else I can find. I've also started moth trapping. I don't know if you've heard of moth trapping, but it's just a light lure that attracts the moths during the night and into a box with some egg cartons in, and then in the morning I have a look through, see what I can find, and release the moths.
Can you
afterwards.
describe that trap again? How do you do it? How do you look? You've got the egg boxes
Yeah, so
in a
it's
box, and
it's a metal box about this big, and it's got a light bulb that
Ah.
is UV,
yes,
so that attracts the moths into, and they fall down into
Yeah.
the egg boxes.
Is it homemade or do you buy them? Is it?
You can buy them, but you
Yeah.
can make them
You
as well.
can make them,
Yeah,
okay.
they are. It is possible to make them.
Can you do that with a sheet somehow as well? with
Yeah,
moths?
exactly. Yeah, you can. Just shine a really bright light at a white sheet, but that then involves staying up quite a lot of the night. So if you're a night owl, that's
Yeah.
definitely a good option for you. I quite like the putting it out in the evening and then having a surprise in the morning to
In
see
the
what
morning, yeah.
what I've got. So this is one of the really lovely moths. This one didn't actually go into the trap, it was sitting underneath it. When I finished doing all of the emptying of the box, I lifted the box up and it was just sitting there. So it's a really interesting moth because the evolution of it, it has gone through quite a recent adaptation.
I've heard of this, yeah.
So during the Industrial Revolution, when the world was full of soot and everything became black, the moth adapted to this new environment and emerged as a new different colour basically, so it could blend into the trees. So it's this one here is the other morph of the same, it's the same species, but it has adapted to the blackness of the trees, whereas the other one is would be found on resting on lichen covered trees, which in obviously the Industrial Revolution, when the soot has damaged all the lichens, there's no longer any lichens on the trees. So
There are lots and lots of lichens around here.
Yeah,
As
and
big as the area is.
exactly, they're a very clean air indicator. So we have lots of lovely lichens in this patch next to the woods. So yeah. And then, so we've come up with these resources to introduce people to what they've already got on their patch. So we had the list of things that you could get from Adarin, which was the database, but this just breaks it down into what species have been recorded here. So this is of my patch, so I can see my contribution of records towards some of this square. One of our colleagues has done a project that really boosted the number of biological records in the area. So a lot of the records are down to them. I think quite a few of the moth records are mine.
So you live in Llanafan?
In Penparcau.
In Penparcau?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So it's very well recorded, this patch. You've got records for almost all species groups. I think all on the list there. Some more than others, obviously. Lichens could do with someone having a look at. There's two species there. And then that's just an example of what I recorded from my back garden, broken down into the different groups.
From 20, all in 23, 24, 25, 26. Oh, you've actually recorded something in January, lichen.
Yeah. And then this is just again to show about how important gardens are for wildlife, which I'm sure you know. The 15 million gardens of the UK cover more surface area than the national nature reserves put together. So anything that you can do for wildlife in your garden has a real impact on biodiversity. This is just an example of the square that we're in now. So this is your village, Llanafan. So we've got quite a few gaps in the data set here, and it would be really amazing to build up a better picture of this particular 1 kilometre square and understand better what's living here.
So where do those records
Yeah, that's
come
what I was
from?
going on. Yeah.
The ones that you've got already, are they?
So, based on what we have, I would say that these is majority are from. There was a national invertebrate survey done. So, I haven't gone deep into the data set to check where they've come
No,
from.
it's just curiosity. I mean, do things like the big butterfly count and
Big
things,
butterfly count.
and the RSPB, big bird.
It's more likely the butterflies have come from our county recorder, or the public. But things like the spiders, I expect that that's come from a specific survey that's been done, because spiders are very tricky and not very many people are looking at them.
So we do have, you remember we had a talk from, I can't remember her name. She came with her mum.
Oh yeah, I wasn't here.
Yes.
I wasn't
What was
here.
her name? But anyway,
Yeah.
they did a lot of
Shipman.
Susie Shipman,
Yeah.
and I think they did a lot of recording. But the first year is 1927,
That's
so there's
Yes.
a lot of years in between that could have been recorded by various, I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to see the records actually.
Yeah, we're planning doing the FIT pollinator
FIT
count.
counts,
Would that
yes.
go into that database on?
Currently not that I know of. I think because the fit count goes directly to the BRC, which is the one that I was saying
Oh
earlier.
yeah.
That's run by CEH. But there's talks and things going on between all of these organisations about sharing their data into different. We mostly deal with species data, whereas the fit count is looking at groups. So bees, solitary bees, wasps, ants. Not ants, sorry. It's the flying ones, isn't it?
What's a fit count?
It's what we were going to do for the pollinator friendly thing, where it's just a 10-minute count on a certain flower, and you count, how many.
Insects.
Well, yeah, in different groups, pollinators, the big kind of bees, wasps,
Flies.
flies, yeah, butterflies, that's it.
Yeah.
Is this record for Llanafan available for all of us to look at, to see these
Yes.
records and where they were recorded? Can we access it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So what? Through the Aderin database,
A Darren database.
Yeah. I can send you a link if that's useful.
Yeah. Or we could just Google a Darren.
Google Aderin, it should come up.
Great, great.
And so this particular map won't be available on there. because these are being generated by my colleague.
Right.
But you can find out what has been recorded, but
Yeah.
it doesn't show you what hasn't, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I see.
So it's only,
Yeah.
whereas,
So you could send us that slide or
yes,
something.
I did mean
Yeah.
to print a copy, but my printer ran out of ink.
No, that's fine.
There's also, so these are some of the species that have been recorded in your 1 kilometre square. So we've got the tawny owl, comma butterfly, hummingbird hawk moth,
Yes, I've seen those.
small tortoiseshell, and this is a small magpie moth in the right hand corner there. And yeah, so if you go onto the Adera database, this is what will come up for your square. So you can sort it via birds, plants, and things. So it's for the public view, it's only showing non-sensitive species. So the protected species are hidden from public
Oh,
view,
okay.
just because of their protected status. But this is quite a short list for you, for your patch.
Not for long.
Not for long. And some of these are just examples of common species that haven't been recorded in the square. So we've got an invasive harlequin ladybird.
Oh, gosh.
So that's a field grasshopper. Red kite, which I was surprised that green shield bug,
We've got those as well.
and your fairly common early bumblebee.
Yeah, got lots of those.
I expected that you would.
I'll be writing them down.
So this is something that we can send to you, and it's like a sort of hit list of different species that you could find that haven't been recorded here, or haven't been recorded for a while. So it's just a list of fairly common things that are easy to identify, and it shows you whether they've been recorded or.
Well, we have, I mean, just looking at that, there's like most of those, yeah,
Yeah.
we could definitely. But can we just do it from memory, or do we have to actually see it? You know, because obviously so many of those we have seen.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll
So-
see them again.
I'm going to see them again, or do we actually have to have a sighting?
So the way the
yeah,
recording
that's it,
works,
yeah.
it would be that you have to have seen it on the date that you.
I see.
So say I guess you could go into the past if you've got sort of a collection of photographs of
Yes.
things that you've seen before, and
Yes.
you've got the dates and the
Sure,
locations.
Sure.
um,
That you need a date, and
Yeah.
ideally, do you also put your photographs in, or am I jumping ahead? So I leave it to you. Sorry.
I will. Yeah, I will cover this shortly. And as part of this project, we're doing weekly recording training sessions, which we're calling West Wales Wild Watch, to go with the lots of W's that we have in our name. So this month I'm running sessions in Lampeter, Ynyslas, Cwmtyddi and Llanilla. And these are sort of practical outdoor sessions with sometimes indoors depending on the location, and we just get together as a group. It's quite a relaxed environment, and go out and explore the local wildlife of the particular area, and then to record it. And yeah, this is just an example of some of the people that come out on our sessions.
Llanailla's just down the road for us.
28th of February, wasn't
So all we need for a record, well, the very basics of a record, is a who, what, where and a when. So who is the person making the record, the what is the species name, and where is the location plus a grid reference if you can get one, and the date the species was seen. There's also a how in there, which is quite useful information, is to say how if, for example, I was using the moth trap, I would put in a comment just to say what type of moth trap it was, the watts of the bulb and things like that, so that can then feed into somebody else's study if they're particularly interested in moths in the area. They can compare traps, because some traps are obviously more powerful, they'll get more moths in. Yeah. So we've got lots of resources on our website. We did a previous project which was called the Recording Toolkit. So there's all sorts of identification resources out there. We've sort of collated them all into one accessible web page. And we've also produced this Wild Plants in West Wales, which is based on the top 100 recorded plants of the region. And it's just an introduction really into recording wild plants. So you're welcome to take one at the end if you're interested in doing that.
Very good. Brilliant.
So submitting records, there's 4 different ways that we accept records. It's a personal preference really. Some people will prefer to do it how they've always done it on paper. Others prefer the apps. Some people like to have their own spreadsheets that they send to us and we can put into the system. So there's an online recording form called Record, or WWBIC Record. So that's on our website, and you have to make an account and sign into that to submit records. And then we have the LERC Wales app, which is quite useful for recording on the go if that's what you prefer. The quite useful thing it does is it tracks your location even if you've not got any signal. It can bring up the good reference of wherever you are using your phone's GPS, so it's quite handy. We also accept records via email. Often people have seen an otter or something and they'd like to inform us of that, so they'll send us an email of just one record.
What's that?
That's a ruby-tailed wasp. It's a cuckoo of solitary bees. So it lays its eggs inside the nests of other.
Gosh.
Yes. They're very small. It's about 1 millimetre in length. So this was taken with like a highly magnifying camera up in the Llyn Peninsula, but I won't say that to my my bosses because it's not taken in West Wales. And then I mentioned county recorders. We've got a list of county recorders here. So we haven't got someone doing something for every group in every county, but most of the major groups are covered. So all of the records that come in from members of the public and from other sources will get sent to the county recorders for them to verify that they're correct, so that the database is a valid data set. So we've got Paul doing butterflies and Pete on moths. Yeah, I've got everything up to lichens, and the only things we're really missing is beetles and bumblebees at the moment. So it'd be good to get some experts involved in who are keen on beetles and bumblebees. And yeah, so just to get involved, to contact us, we've got the website. and these weekly wildlife recording sessions that everybody's welcome to come along to. And if not, then you can get involved in terms of having your own patch. If you wanted to not just have the whole of Llanafan Square, you can have your back garden, and we can produce those maps and lists for your individual small patch. This is just, and then I have done a little ID quiz. This is
Pepper moth.
Pepper moth, yeah. This is just for fun, really, and yeah, you can mark your own answers at the end.
You don't have to swap papers like we did at school. Mark your next
Are we
one.
writing these down?
Yeah, you can write them down or shout out, I don't mind.
Hair on the left, rabbit on the right.
Left on the bit.
Brown hair.
Hair.
Yeah, and a rabbit on the right.
Rabbit. Thistle.
Ooh, what's that one? That's a weird thistle.
What is that?
Not a cut, no, it's not cutting.
It's. I think it's very much mountain bike. I think
It
it's
is a
something
bit
in the
zoomed
bogs. In a bog, I think. Like
Bog thistle.
Close.
that one on the right.
Is that bog myrtle or something like that now?
It's a fairly common one that you get on road verges in quite early spring. It's got quite a few different common names.
No, it's, not cuckoo's pipes. Cuckoo.
Yeah, you on the edge of your tongue.
Is it lady smock? Is
Yes,
that another word?
that's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah. So the one on the
Smock
left
and
is
slipper of very.
the marsh thistle. So you had it very close with the bog thistle.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
And yeah, it's this one's got lots of common names. I know the lady smock,
Yeah.
cuckoo flower is another one.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more, but I can't
Yeah.
and then this is the
Bug.
Yeah.
Brown and green.
the one on the right, yeah, the green shieldbug. The one on the left is the
There's a stink bug.
yeah, I think that's one of the names of this one. It's a red-legged shieldbug. It has got red legs. Yeah. I don't know how fast I've gone through that.
No, don't worry.
A bit too fast.
No, it's okay.
Have we got more
But
quiz? Is that it?
that's
Oh,
the
I
end
was
of the quiz.
expecting
Not
another
the quiz. Yeah, sorry. These are the answers. So I've already.
We get both those names.
Yes, I'm not very good at the last name. Pentatoma rufipes is that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do shield bugs do in particular? I mean, as opposed to bees or moths, or what do shield bugs do?
That's
Live.
really a good question, and I
What do
honestly
they-
don't know
what do
the
they
answer.
eat? Do they
They-
eat?
They are, I believe, they eat
Aphids.
other, yeah.
Yeah, I think they are good.
I'm pretty sure they are a predator,
Exactly. Of things you don't
smaller.
want. Yeah.
unwanted. Yeah. But I'm not a shield bug expert, so.
You know, we have the garden of the WI. You come
Yeah, you must
in
come
the
in
wrong
the day
time
and
of
have
the
a
day.
look.
Yes.
We have a wildlife garden around the cottage that's been being established over the last few years. So Angela will be able to talk more about that, but we have 2 ponds and we have wildlife boxes and wildflower meadow, and all sorts
Yeah,
going on here. So
fruit trees, hedging.
this
Actually, you
is
can probably,
hopefully a really good habitat that
Yeah.
will grow and develop into a really good habitat.
And it would be really interesting and important, I think, to document what
from now on.
from now.
yeah.
It would be great to
I
see
think so, yeah, yeah.
what you've got now, and then
Yeah.
as it develops, you can.
Well, I
build
put a
up your-
wildlife camera
your
out, we got
patch.
2 cats.
We don't
Well,
want
we
the
don't
cats.
record those ones.
We don't want the cats.
Although I have come across the odd feral cat in the database.
But there
Obviously,
are
they are
hedgehogs
part
around
of the environment when they are feral and they're eating
here. Yeah.
various creatures. But
But we do already have thistle thrush.
ooh,
Yes,
So
Um,
we've had, yeah, we've had it. I don't think there were any last year, we've had them in the past, as you
Yeah.
can tell. There's some,
slow worms.
oh yeah, lots of slow ones. I've recorded, got a film of hedgehogs in the garden as well.
Hedgehogs.
yeah.
Which is nice.
There is a record. There is one record of a hedgehog that I've seen on the on your patch.
Oh,
Oh, I've definitely got hedgehogs,
But I
I've
don't
got
know. I
film
think it was
of
quite a long
hedgehogs.
time ago.
yeah.
So yeah.
So
Yes.
I think, yes, certainly we can start recording, can't
Yeah.
we, what we have in the cottage garden, and then feed in to this database.
So if you use something like the iNaturalist, does that feed into yours if you go on
So-
something on that?
iNaturalist at the moment, because it's an American-based app, and it's got various like permissions that we can't quite use all the data yet.
Is that
So
a
it
bit
needs
like
to
the
be-
Merlin app as well? Because that's an American bird one, isn't it?
Merlin, yeah, I'm not sure what happens to the data for Merlin, whether they collate it all in a database or whether it's just on your phone.
Mhm.
I'm not sure about that one.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So at the moment, our main recording app is the LERC Wales app, and then we also get records from iRecord. So those are the two that definitely come to us and fairly quickly as well. Yeah.
So you can come back this time
I
next
could-
year, and we'll look at that, patch, and
Yeah.
see if there's been any.
Well, what if you're interested in taking part in the project, then we can produce that for you, and then once you've done recording and built up the list, then we'll send you like a summary of what you've recorded throughout the year and feedback like that. I can also
That sounds good. I
Even-
Yeah.
think that's a good idea.
It'd be
Yeah.
interesting to do a practical session with you.
yeah.
Would you come out one Saturday morning maybe to do a practical recording, perhaps in the summer when there's more, especially insects or
Yeah.
things around?
Just in the wildlife
In-
garden
yeah,
here,
here.
that
Yeah.
would be brilliant.
Yeah, I can do that.
would be fabulous.
Or I'll
Definitely.
email you.
Yeah. that would be
Because
really
if we don't meet Thursday night, we can meet Saturday morning instead.
Yeah.
Which is just as good.
good. Yeah, and I'm quite conveniently over
Close.
in Aberystwyth, so yeah,
Great.
so that would work really well.
Cool. But,
Did
yeah.
anyone want to share what they've written about the questions that I asked earlier? Or the alternative is just to stick the post-its somewhere on the way out and go.
I've written on
Read
the
out
back.
our three. I've written all of mine.
Yeah.
My books are my best ones.
I have two.
I could do the
We've
red
got
kites.
colonies in the
I could do the red kites on a daily basis because I'm up
Yeah.
in Llanafan and we've got a couple at the back of us and
What's
the
that?
red kites are always around where I am. And every time I try and get a picture, it disappears. We had a couple, we had a mating couple,
Yeah.
and they've come back again. So
I had a
chased a hare down the road when we left early one day. It was going down.
sparrowhawk with a live bird.
Oh, wow.
And it's-
Yeah.
And I heard the bird screaming, I went to look and the sparrowhawk had a collared dove.
Really?
And I thought,
It
it
must
was
have
on the
been
ground,
The round
on the
circle.
ground. pin on it,
Yes.
but it was still alive, and I thought, well, if you were a cat, I'd throw a brick at you. But as it's a sparrowhawk,
Have you got much?
and I went back and
It's
I,
likely to have been a female then, because
it was a
they're
big
large.
one, yeah.
They're larger than the males. The males are quite small, so they can't take such big prey.
We have like 12-foot sort of thickety hedge,
Yeah.
and it was in the bottom of that. And then I went back an hour later, she was still giving me the daggers as she ate it. And then an hour later, there wasn't a feather.
Nothing.
It had obviously managed to carry the carcass
Oh
on.
wow.
But it was a bit, when you hear the collared doves screaming, but sparrowhawks got to live
I find her a bit
Yeah.
as well.
They are, the larvae are.
And we don't get as many
I've
bats
had
as
to
we used
rescue
to.
various
You're
things
not.
from.
No, that's true. We used to
You
recycle.
I did.
Well, I've got a bat detector, and I used to go for walks with the kids when they were little with it.
Okay.
Not that I'm not very good at identifying bats, but it helps you see them.
Yeah,
When you-
when you hear them.
Yeah,
That's where it comes.
Now I can walk. Last summer I walked up and down there, and I've been lucky if I see 2 bats.
Yeah.
When well, it was about 20 years ago, they used to be all over on that carpet. It's just really sad.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of research going into the decline in moth abundance with the bat, but then there's also the habitat loss and various things. But
Are there any species that are noticeably declining in the area?
in this area, I wouldn't like to say exactly one species is declining. I think all species are in trouble. Just with the rapidly changing weather patterns and things that are harming the
Yes.
general populations of all species. So one of the things that we often get asked is, well, what shall I record? And often people think that we're only interested in rarities, but we encourage people to record the common things, because without the records of common species, we won't know why something has declined. So the house sparrow is a really good example.
Yes.
That was abundant in all areas and is now on the red list.
Is it? Come up to mine. That's all I seem to get. You did the big bird watch. That's all that came and landed
Yeah,
on the
that's all
day
that came
last
to
year
mind,
as well.
But yeah, they've declined a lot over the whole of the UK.
We've got loads.
So
3 years ago we had 12 house sparrow nests. Then the year after we had 6, and we didn't have a single one last year.
yeah,
We've got
Don't know
one.
why.
I've got a picture on my phone of one thing. We had, because Mick put a big bird box outside the garage, and the mum feeding the baby that looked like it was too fat to come out, and it finally came out. But yeah, every bird watch last year and this year, that's all that landed. Oh no, the robin came.
Yeah,
The robin come.
we haven't had many birds on the feeders this year, but I think it's because I was sat in the woods and the blue ticks and the blackbirds are all eating rose hips and things.
yeah.
There's a lot
there
of
was a
natural
good
food this year,
because of the dry spell. They think that
and it was warm
everything
in
had
autumn,
a
wasn't
sort
it?
of last year, they called it, I think,
Yeah.
didn't they? So the stress causes it to put out loads and loads of fruit. But it's kind of a stress response to the dry weather. It's trying to produce more seeds to
It's
survive
interesting
another
what
year.
species change it, because I've recorded all the different species you've seen in the garden every week for about the last 6 years, and I can lay them out on bar diagrams, and it's interesting what's increased and what's
Oh,
gone.
right. So you've got a well documented.
Yeah, about 6 years, but
That's really good. Yeah.
not numbers, just species.
Just species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just